According to Malaysian government statistics, the official poverty in the country is very low. This figure has gone from nearly half of the population in 1970 to 0.6% in 2014. Analysis of this information should mean that Malaysia has very good anti-poverty policies. However, when examined in another light, developed countries such as Europe and the United States continue to have difficulties lowering the poverty rate to below 10%. This leads many to believe that Malaysia's official statistics may be misleading. Now it's just 2 in the morning, but the Yayasan Nanyang Press has a number of volunteers gathered as they're about to head into indigenous villages in Pahang State's mountainous areas to distribute aid.
Malaysia's Pahang State is equivalent to the size of Taiwan. NGO volunteers from the capital of Kuala Lumpur are going to Pahang's mountainous region, as some 80% of this state is original forest. Many indigenous people live here without any water and electricity. To catch a glimpse of this indigenous village, we take a bus to the village, then go on motorcycle into this tropical rainforest. Here we see thatched roofs on all of these dwellings, which are scattered throughout this area.
In this forest, it is hard to find suitable wood to build this residence.
In indigenous tribes, a standard house is much like this, with a thatched roof and wooden walls and a floor. 3 families live in this house, with each family occupying one room, as there may be a dozen people living here.
This house is very flammable, and yet these houses have cooking fires.
When we get food, we put it here so it can cook.
There's no water and electricity in this indigenous village. Fires caused by cooking have burned many houses, with these residents forced to live in a community activity center, which is also the village's largest building and also its school. Most of the parents here collect rubber and they leave their children here and work until evening before returning home. Charity groups bring compassion and assistance, installing a solar panel to generate electricity on the roof of the school. This indigenous mountain tribe is gradually becoming used to advanced technology, which is making their lives more convenient, as they're all willing to participate in all sorts of activities. This indigenous language is not something that everyone can understand, but a smile is a universal language, as these children welcome the volunteers with their smiles.
When we help people, we see that they are happy, and this makes us happy, which is something money cannot buy.
Yayasan Nanyang Press makes an appeal on the internet, as each month some 100 volunteers bring needed goods to the countryside. Most Malaysian Chinese are very united, and whenever they see such reports about unfortunate families, there are those who are willing to donate. With more and more funds, Yayasan Nanyang Press decided to set up a charitable foundation. This is Chinese philanthropy was dedicated to helping the weak, regardless of religion or race. For low-income households, the government provides cheap rentals called government housing, and this is where charities do much of their work. In Penang, this building has 3,600 households, and Malay and ethnic Chinese and Indians are all housed here. Poverty doesn't discriminate amongst races. She has no fixed income, and she's a single mother who's extremely poor and doesn't have an education. This Malaysian charity, 7979, not only assists families in distress but also aids in major domestic and international disasters, mobilizing volunteers to travel around the country. It has a total of 90 stations, with 25 of which open to vulnerable children. It doesn't mean that these poor children cannot study, but in fact they have no opportunity to study. After school, these children go directly to the Care Association, take a shower, eat, write homework, and are surrounded by love and compassion, which they don't get at home.
In Malaysia, poverty is on the increase, as there are more people living on the poverty line.
Chung has been promoting the concept of food banks, which is something that he learned from Taiwan.
Taiwanese society is very strong. I think people in Taiwan put a lot of focus on vulnerable groups.
Making a special trip to Taiwan to learn how to conduct this social service, visiting nearly all of Taiwan as it tries to emulate the 1919 disaster relief system, coming up with a similar name based upon the example of Taiwan.
What I learned there is that we can't use 1919 because that means to save someone in Taiwan. So we use 7979, which has the same meaning.
There are poor families around the world. As long as they are willing to accept our help, we're willing to help them as much as possible.
Love has no borders, and for those who need help, whether it's in Taiwan organizations such as 1919 or Malaysia 7979, help and human compassion is given to all those in need.